All right, what's happening, fam? L.A.R movement still moving. You know, um, when matriarchy hits the wall, I know this is gonna sound crazy, but whatever. I was thinking, and I was listening to somebody talk about um, our community being quote unquote a matriarchy, right? Which I don't necessarily believe because the dynamics that they consider matriarchy still fall under patriarchy. What I mean by that is you got women who are living in Section 8 housing, government assistance, and saying, because of all of this patriarchal assistance they're getting from non-black men that they're living in a matriarchy, which makes no sense. You got the same government who no matter what race it is, 9 times out of 10, 90% of the time, a mother gets custody of a kid. So it's in white men have created the legal system as we call it in America. So you've gotten that out of patriarchy. So the benefits of what you perceive to be benefits all came from men, regardless. They might not have came from your own. They might have came from your own. Whatever, you know. But here's the thing: a matriarchal society is always going to hit a wall because you can't think the queen is going to run the kingdom and have a bunch of princes that can't be kings because they weren't taught to be. So you'll have another society with princes that were taught by kings how to rule a society, and what happened is they will overthrow the queendom because at some point kingdoms have conflict, and when a kingdom has conflict, you won't see the queens on the battlefield. And unfortunately, you get matriarchs saying it's their queendom and it's their castle, but any king could come along and take it because they're not prepared for the conquer strategy. They're playing checkers while other people are playing chess. And part of that is because for some odd reason, male and female equality is not as cut and dry as people think. Because if we do the same job, we should get paid the same. That's true. But the jobs that need to be done that aren't in air-conditioned settings or good weather or an uncomfortable environment, women are not going to sign up to do. It's all about equality in comfort. It's not about equality in uncomfortable spaces. So what happens when um, when the kingdom is getting built, the queen won't be there laying brick and mortar. When the kingdom, when the queendom is finally done, the queen will show up and sit on the throne and say, "This is my stuff." When when another kingdom says, "Yeah, we don't have to do business with them. We could just take it," because the queen has one major problem. And this is a female thing because it's a female situation. Females think they can conquer through sex, and men think you should conquer through actions. See, you can't sleep with the enemy. and steal, and say that was the treaty. Like I gave you some of this good, and now you won't kill us all. That's not how it works. And for all of y'all to go back to Queens, what do you think about is it Mark Antony and Cleopatra? She couldn't screw her way out of Egypt getting conquered, because that's not how you going that's not what's gonna win. You know, just like even in the animal kingdom, if if a male gets killed by another male, that male will normally kill the offspring of the male in front of the females, who are those offspring's mothers, and then turn around and impregnate them with their kids. And the mothers don't stop this. The queens of the jungle don't stop this. Just like the queens in real life never stopped a war, and thinking that because you're in a comfortable setting and you're used to comfort and never taking into consideration you're not used to being uncomfortable. Look at it in life. You have a situation where the matriarchs who are with when women are living in a patriarchy, they don't mind showing up, because they know all the dirty work and the heavy lifting is already handled. They don't have a problem with that. Like, oh well, I can just, bam, I look good, cool. But then you have those women who, well, I'm gonna play like I'm a matriarch, like I'm in this patriarchal thing. So then I'm gonna take as much as the resources that I can get for just showing up. And look at what do they do with them? Do they create their own thing? No. Do they fortify what they've gotten? No. They just straight up Marie Antoinette with it. Just let everybody eat cake, until they ultimately throw themselves to the wolves on their own accord. Which is why you see all these ladies who have married and been with guys, and then they want to go off on their own, and all they want to do is shop and go on trips and buy clothes. And you wonder to yourself, why did you get divorced and take half of the patriarch's resources to do exactly the same thing you were doing while you were with the guy? Which is why, going back to defense, and that on that note, is also the thing about, this is why these young ladies get with these quote-unquote thugs. They think they're smarter than them. That's their quote-unquote defense team. Mind you, they can't defend them well, and they can't defend them long. Because if you're the queen of your queendom, and you're taking in people lesser than a king, and they have to live off of your queendom's resources, they're going to want to find their own kingdom while they mooch off of your queendom, which leaves you in poverty for one, because you're not budgeting properly, in danger for two, because your hired help and muscle might bring you more violence than protect you from more violence. That's why the kids are under attack. That's why the neighborhoods that people live in, well, it's a bad neighborhood, they doing all this bad stuff here. How come don't nobody stand up to them? It's all the gang violence, and then the police are taking over and they're doing this and that. Well, it's a matriarchal society. Are y'all going to stand up and fight against the gangs? Are y'all going to stand up and fight against the police brutality? No, you don't. And it shows over and over and over again. Do y'all stand up and set provisions aside for your children's future to make sure that their children are set? No, you don't do those things. So what winds up happening is you hit a wall and turn around and say, well, the men should have been doing such and such so I wouldn't have to. Now, you can't go around fighting everything a man does to make sure the kingdom runs smoothly. Say you get your own kingdom or queendom, run it into the ground and then blame it on the king. The king's going to have a different queen by then, a different kingdom, and that one's going to run smoothly. Your queendom is your responsibility. And that's the one thing about using the kingdom and queendom reference like that. Once you say it is your queendom, there you are the responsible party for everything that happens in it. Thus, you can't go around and say Queen Lily the First created famine, poverty, disease, and a mutiny or revolt because she mismanaged the queendom, but it's King Louis's the first fault because King Louis wouldn't put up with her strong, independent nature. King Louis is doing fine. His kingdom is doing fine. He has another queen. That's fine. His people are eating. You know, they're living in surplus. So it basically is and he's prepared their soldiers for battle, so they won't get overtaken by other kingdoms. So people have given them their space to grow. So when this wall is hit, there's nothing that guys can say to these matriarchs because they weren't playing chess. They were playing checkers. And the funny part about playing chess with resources is this. This is not like the game of chess where the queen makes all of the moves, has free reign to do everything, and everybody protects the king. That's just the game, but in all honesty, in reverse, the king makes all the moves to protect the queen to a degree. You get what I'm saying? You know, that's what the pawns and the knights and the rooks and the bishops are all for. Protect this kingdom, but if the queen wants to be the king, you set yourself as not the actual king in reality, but as the king chess piece. You can only move one place at a time, and you're not that useful except for knowing who wins and loses. I'm out.